All right, y'all. If you thought the last video that I did about the English proficiency law was wild, wait until you see what I'm about to show you today. Because the damage this is doing to our roads, our rates, and our reputation, it's worse than you think it is. And I have real life proof. From fiery crashes to super long delays at docks, this problem isn't just annoying, it's deadly. Freight rates are falling. Respect for drivers is at its all-time low, and people are dying because of it. And I saw firsthand just today, something happened to me on the road that proves how serious this is. If I couldn't read or understand English in that moment, it could have gone really bad, fast. Here's what happened. My mechanic called me last night and was like, dude, you have got to go get some 7590 synthetic gear oil and put it in your hub on your steer, because my passenger side steer is looking pretty rough and leaking kind of a lot of oil. So I'm gonna have to get my truck in the shop, but at least for tonight, I think I'm good if I get a couple quarts of some gear oil and put it in that bad boy, and Lord willing, I can make it through the night and deliver this load and then get my truck to the shop and have them fix that up. Man, I'm glad I understand English, because if I were to get pulled over by a DOT and I had that wheel bearing locked up and seized up and I got into a crash, that could be a whole nother slew of problems. Like, imagine what the DOT and FMCSA would say about that. If I couldn't speak English, I wouldn't even know how to go get the gear oil, where to get the gear oil. I wouldn't know that it was even an issue, because they don't really teach that in CDL schools. We got to be able to understand, because if we don't, we can kill people, and people are dying because of this. And so I'm glad that we are doing this. Let's dive into the video though. First, I got to go get some gear oil. Just got the old Mobil 1 gear oil, synthetic, 7590. And we good to go. Let's go fill this bad boy up so we don't bust a freaking tire on the road. And we don't want to be that guy. I saw a driver last week miss an off-ramp. Then he completely missed his dock that he was supposed to back into. He couldn't figure out which dock he was supposed to go to, because he couldn't read the signs above the dock door which number door he was supposed to go to. Then I also seen that same driver before that back up the whole packing house for over 2 hours because he couldn't understand what the guard shack was telling him. And the guard shack was ticked off because couldn't understand the guy, and then he was ticked off towards all of us drivers. So that kind of stuff trickles down. Not only is it unsafe, but it also makes everybody else's life difficult. I love everybody, so I don't want anybody to get it twisted that I hate people, or I don't like people, or that I'm racist, or any discriminatory type of behavior. I love everybody, and I'm a godly man, and I just care about the industry, and I care about my family who has to grow up in this world. And I want to make sure we all do it right and take care of our country. I've seen the trucking industry completely ruined. It's so broken, and all of you know what I'm talking about. We can't subsidize drivers who don't understand our language and will haul cheap freight for $1.20, $1.50 a mile, while we're out here struggling to pay our bills and keep our house. For an industry that we built with our own hands 100 years ago, with our blood, sweat, and tears. We got to take care of this industry. And we got to take care of each other, and we got to hold each other all up to the same standards. And that's why this English proficiency law, I think, is a beautiful thing. It sets a standard for our country, for our industry as truck drivers. And it's not about hate. It's not about where you're from or what color your skin is. It's just about being an American and doing things right and legal and keeping the roads safe, keeping drivers safe, keeping family and kids safe, and protecting our industry. So just to touch a little bit again on that hub oil situation, where my mechanic told me that if I don't put that gear oil into my hub on my steer tire on my driver's side, then that sucker could dry up. And what happens then when the metal in the wheel bearing rubs on metal, it's going to blow that tire probably clean off and cause accidents, cause problems. But what if I was a non-English speaking individual from another country and I was over here and I went to CDL school and they didn't teach me how significant that was? If that happens, I'm on the road, you know, who do I call? I can't call service to come get me gear oil because they can't understand me. So it just causes a slew of issues. So that driver's probably going to keep running down the road. And if that driver runs down the road with a hub that's empty on gear oil and the wheel bearing seizes up while he's going down the road with 80,000 pounds on him, he could kill himself and other people. And that's just a small little scenario where it trickles down into all other areas. And that's why this law is so significant. We've got to enforce it and we've got to change our industry and make it better. Now, I made it out of that one, but not everyone does. And the sad truth is, this kind of thing happens every day in trucking. So let's talk about what's really going on out here. This isn't just a money problem. It's a safety crisis. Let me walk you through some real crashes that prove what happens when drivers can't speak, read, or understand English. In 2019, I-70 crash, Rogo Aguilera Medeiros missed multiple signs of steep grades and runaway ramps. He didn't take the ramp. He plowed in to stop traffic, killing 4 people. He later admitted he didn't understand some road signs. Scott Miller, Colorado, killed by a driver with no valid CDL and a massive deportation history. The driver needed a Spanish interpreter on scene. Onondaga Parkway, New York. Despite signs that say low clearance, no trucks, a non-English speaking driver hit the bridge. It's been hit over 200 times. In West Virginia, 2025, a driver fled the scene of a fatal crash and couldn't answer questions without an interpreter. In Hampstead, Ontario, a flatbed truck hit a van of migrant workers, killing 11. Language barriers slowed emergency response. A 2023 DOT report showed over 4,000 roadside violations related to language comprehension. This is why the English proficiency law needs teeth, not just words on paper, real enforcement. If you're driving 80,000 pounds and you can't read signs like runaway ramp, you're not confused. You're dangerous. And here's what really scares me. How are they getting CDLs in the first place? A 2022 FMCSA audit found 1 in 4 CDL schools were not verifying English proficiency. That means drivers are memorizing answers or slipping through just to fill a seat. This isn't just a training issue. It's life or death. I've waited at docks for hours while one driver holds up the line trying to talk to security. I've lost reloads because of it. I burned hours of service, sat hungry, and got blamed like it was my fault. Freight rates have tanked from $2.71 a mile, almost $3 a mile in 2022, to $1.63 a mile by 2023. And part of that drop, drivers who haul for pennies just to stay afloat. Let me be real. I know guys who barely speak English, and they're good people. They work hard. Some are even great drivers. But even they'll tell you, it gets dangerous when you can't talk to DOT, read a sign, or understand a shipper instructions. I hope this law doesn't hurt their families, but they know the industry's in trouble. And if we don't trim the weeds off the roots, the whole tree dies. Yeah, there are bad American drivers too, but we've got laws to catch them. Inspections, logs, safety scores. This issue, it's different. It's growing. And if it keeps spreading, we're all going down with it. This ain't hate, it's reality. And if you love trucking like I do, you know it's time for change. This industry's hurting, and if we don't speak up, nobody will. Drop a comment and tell your story. Hit the subscribe if you're tired of where trucking's heading. I'm Guy in a Truck. Keep it between the lines, driver. Peace.